All right. So, you sent us over this material about manifestation, and it's called The Power Within, Introduction to Manifestation.
Yeah.
And wow, there's some really, really thought-provoking stuff in here.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
When I was first reading through it, what what I kept coming back to was this idea that like bringing something into your reality, it's not just like making a wish and hoping it happens.
Right.
It's more like, okay, you've got this seed,
Okay.
and that seed is your thoughts and your feelings,
Okay.
and then your actions are how you tend that seed.
I love that.
You're nurturing it, you're helping it grow,
Ooh, yeah.
and then it becomes something tangible in your life.
Absolutely.
So it's like you're so much more involved in shaping your life
Right.
than maybe we sometimes give ourselves credit for.
That's a great analogy using the seed because what really resonated with me in this material was that exact emphasis on being an active participant.
Mm.
Like it's not some outside force that's just gonna make things happen to you.
Right.
It's really a dynamic kind of back and forth between what's going on inside of you
Yeah,
and then the reality that you experience out in the world.
totally.
So for this deep dive, I'm really excited to kind of like unpack all of that,
Maybe two.
really get to the core of what's going on here
Yeah.
and stay away from like some of the fluffier interpretations,
Right.
you hear out there.
Yeah.
So we're gonna look at how this works based on natural laws
Right.
and the power that's inside of us.
Exactly. And I think for a lot of people when they hear the word manifestation, they think like, oh, like winning the lottery
Right.
or something like that, or like suddenly having $1 million.
Yeah, instant riches.
Yeah, exactly. It's like some sort of cosmic vending machine.
Right.
You just put in your quarter and out pops whatever you want.
Yeah. Yeah.
But this source is really careful to explain what manifestation isn't,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is super important. Right from the start, it's like, okay, this isn't about magic.
Yeah.
This is about understanding how these natural laws work.
Yeah, and that distinction is so important
Yeah.
because it draws a line in the sand, between just kind of like passively hoping for something and really actively engaging with the whole process of manifestation.
Yeah.
And it talks about this idea of inspired action,
Yeah, I love that.
which means you're really taking an active role
Mhm.
in bringing about what you want. So it's not always easy.
Right.
It's not always going to be a smooth ride.
Yeah.
But you got to be ready for the challenges.
Yeah, you have to be committed
Exactly.
to seeing it through.
Yeah.
And what's so cool is that this source doesn't limit manifestation to just like material things,
Right.
like getting a new car or a bigger house.
Totally.
It talks about like your emotional well-being,
Mm-hmm.
like how you feel on the inside,
Yeah.
your personal growth, becoming a better person,
Absolutely.
and even the quality of your relationships.
Yeah, your connections with others.
Yeah, like how connected you feel to other people.
Totally.
And when you think about it that way, it kind of like expands the whole concept.
It really does. It shifts your perspective because it goes way beyond just focusing on stuff
Right.
and more towards like creating this whole fulfilling life.
Yeah.
And that nuance is so important, because the source also talks about time.
Yeah.
Like, don't expect overnight results.
Right.
This isn't like instant gratification.
It's a process.
Yeah, it's a journey.
Yeah.
And it takes time and it takes patience.
Right.
And I think most importantly, it takes persistence.
Yeah. You can't just give up
Exactly. You got to keep going.
if it doesn't happen right away.
Yeah, you can't just press a button and poof,
Right.
your wish appears.
That's like planting a seed.
Exactly.
It takes time for it to sprout and grow.
Yeah.
Which reminds me of another point the source makes that I think is really important.
Yeah.
It says that wanting to improve your life isn't selfish.
That's huge.
Yeah. I think sometimes we can feel bad
Yeah.
if we're like, oh, I want to focus on myself.
Right.
Like I want to
Mhm.
achieve my goals and I want to be happy.
Yeah.
But the material argues that like when you're content
Mm-hmm.
and when you feel fulfilled,
Yeah.
you actually have more to give to others.
It's true.
You're coming from a place of abundance.
Yeah. You're not depleted.
Exactly.
So you can actually contribute more.
Yeah. And it's like that whole idea of putting on your own oxygen mask first
Right.
on an airplane.
Exactly.
You have to take care of yourself
Mm-hmm.
before you can help others.
It's a great reframing.
Totally.
It's like self-care and personal growth aren't just like these extras,
Right.
They're fundamental.
It's essential.
Yeah, and they ripple outwards,
Yeah.
affecting everyone around you.
Totally.
And the source also talks about what happens when things don't go according to plan. Like, what if you put in all this effort and you don't get the results you hoped for?
Right.
Or what if it doesn't happen as fast as you wanted it to?
Yeah.
And the source says, maybe your desires have changed.
Oh, interesting.
Or maybe the universe has different plans.
Okay.
And I love that phrasing because it's like, it's this reminder to accept things and be able to adapt.
Yeah, to go with the flow.
Exactly.
So, okay, we're starting to get a better idea of what manifestation isn't.
Right.
It's not magic.
Mm-hmm.
It takes effort from our side.
It does.
It's more than just material things.
Right.
It takes time.
Yeah.
It's not selfish.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes we have to be flexible.
We do.
So then the question is, what is it?
Yeah, what is this thing?
What is manifestation?
Right.
And this is where the source really dives into the science behind it.
Yeah.
Which I found super fascinating.
This is where it gets really interesting.
Yeah.
Because it takes this idea that can seem kind of abstract and connects it to actual science.
Right, like real tangible things.
Yeah, using psychology and neuroscience.
So let's start with the psychology side of things.
Okay, great.
The source talks about positive psychology and how focusing on positive emotions, like gratitude, can actually make you happier and more resilient.
It's true.
Like it actually improves your well-being. And I think it makes sense, if you're feeling good,
right,
and you're approaching challenges with more optimism.
Yeah, you're more open to possibilities.
Right, you're more likely to see those opportunities.
Yeah, positive psychology is all about cultivating those positive states.
Yeah.
And your strengths.
Yeah.
And it can create this amazing cycle
where,
when you're more resilient, you can handle the tough stuff better.
Right, you can bounce back.
Yeah, and gratitude specifically. It helps you appreciate what you have.
Yeah.
And see how far you've come.
Right.
Which then gives you even more motivation.
Yeah.
And a sense of like, okay, anything is possible.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so then the source talks about the importance of goal setting and how having these really clear, specific goals gives you a sense of direction.
Totally.
And makes it more likely that you'll actually achieve those goals.
It's like you need a roadmap.
Right.
You can't manifest something if you don't even know what it is.
Exactly. Like if you're just like, oh, I want to be happy.
Yeah.
But you don't define what that actually means for you.
Right. What does happy look like? What does it feel like?
Exactly.
So goals act like this compass.
Okay.
They focus your energy.
Yeah.
They direct your attention. And they make it so much more likely that you'll actually take the steps.
To get there.
Yeah, to make those goals a reality.
And the source also talks about measurable goals.
Oh, that's so important.
Yeah. Why is that?
Because if you can measure something, you can track your progress, you can see how far you've come, and you can make adjustments along the way.
Oh, yeah. Like if you're not seeing the results you want,
exactly,
you can tweak your approach.
You can course correct.
Yeah. And that keeps you moving forward.
And feeling good about it.
Right. Like you're not just stuck.
Yeah.
Okay. So this ties into this idea of self-efficacy, which is basically like believing in yourself.
Yeah. Do you believe you can actually do it?
Right. And the source says that this belief is super important for staying motivated. And actually performing well.
Totally.
It's almost like if you believe you can succeed, you're more likely to actually succeed.
It's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah.
Because when you believe in yourself, you're more likely to put in the effort.
Right.
And you're more likely to persevere.
To keep going, even when things get tough.
Yeah. You don't give up easily.
And you see obstacles as challenges to overcome.
Exactly.
Not as reasons to quit.
Yeah, you see them as opportunities to learn and grow.
Okay, so then there's this really interesting concept of visualization.
Oh, I love visualization.
Yeah.
So it's basically like mentally rehearsing what you want to happen.
Right, like picturing it in your mind.
Yeah, and the source says that this can actually activate neural pathways in your brain.
Whoa, that's so cool.
Yeah, it's like your brain doesn't always know the difference between something you vividly imagine and something that's actually happening.
So it's like you're training your brain.
Yeah, you're priming it.
For that outcome.
Exactly.
You're making it more familiar.
And more attainable.
Okay, so that covers a lot of the psychology.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the neuroscience.
All right, let's do it.
The source starts by talking about neuroplasticity, which is this amazing ability of our brains to change and adapt throughout our lives.
To rewire themselves.
Yeah. And that's like fundamental to being able to change our mindset.
It is.
And break out of those old patterns.
Totally. Because it means that those limiting beliefs And those negative thought patterns, they're not set in stone.
They're not permanent.
No, you can actually change them.
Through effort and focus.
It's like you're literally reshaping your brain.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
And then there's this thing called the reticular activating system, or RAS.
Oh, yeah, the RAS.
Which is like a filter in our brain.
Yeah, it's like your brain's personal assistant.
Oh.
It decides what's important.
Based on what we're focusing on.
Exactly. So if you're constantly thinking about your goals and your desires,
right,
your RAS is going to be on high alert
for
anything that relates to those goals.
So you're more likely to notice those opportunities.
Yeah, things that were always there.
But you just didn't see them before.
You weren't tuned in.
It's like when you buy a new car.
Yeah.
And then suddenly you see that car everywhere.
Exactly. It's like your RAS is like, oh, this is important now.
I got to pay attention to this.
Yeah.
Okay, so the source also mentions mirror neurons and how positive role models can be really powerful.
Yeah.
How does that all fit into this?
So mirror neurons are these amazing cells in our brain that basically allow us to learn by watching others.
Oh, wow.
So if you see someone doing something you admire or feeling a certain emotion, your mirror neurons fire as if you were doing or feeling that thing yourself.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like a mini simulation in your brain.
So it's like by watching someone who's already achieved what we want, our brain is like, oh, okay, this is possible.
Exactly. It gives you inspiration, gives you motivation.
And it can even teach you new behaviors.
Yeah. So surrounding yourself with positive role models is a great way to support your manifestation journey.
It's like you're immersing yourself in that energy.
Yeah.
Okay. And then there's the placebo effect.
Oh, yes. The placebo effect.
This is where just believing in something can actually make it happen.
Even if there's no physical reason for it.
It's like the power of our minds.
Yeah. Your beliefs can literally influence your reality.
It's wild.
It shows you how interconnected your mind and body are.
Totally.
And how powerful your expectations can be.
Okay, so when you take all of this science into account, it creates this positive feedback loop.
It does.
That the source describes.
Yeah, where positive thoughts lead to positive actions, which then lead to more positive outcomes.
Right, and that reinforces your positive mindset.
It's like a snowball effect.
Yeah.
In a good way.
It's like building momentum in the right direction.
Exactly, and it's all these psychological and neurological principles working together.
Right, in harmony.
Yeah, to help you manifest your desires.
Okay, so now the source delves into the law of attraction.
Okay.
Which is this idea that can you explain how that fits into everything we've been talking about?
Sure. So the law of attraction is like the energy behind manifestation.
Okay.
It's saying that your thoughts and feelings, they have a certain vibration, and that vibration attracts things with a similar vibration.
So if you're focused on positive, and you're feeling good, you're more likely to attract more positive experiences.
Exactly. It's about aligning your energy
with what you want.
Yeah. And the source gives some steps for working with the law of attraction.
Okay, what's the first one?
The first step is getting really clear about what you want.
Define your desires.
Yeah, you got to know what you're aiming for.
Right, like don't be vague.
Be specific.
Yeah.
The more specific, the better.
Okay, what's the next step?
The next step is to focus on positive thoughts and feelings.
Okay, so like gratitude, joy, anticipation.
Exactly. It's like feeling as if you already have what you want.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, you're matching the energy.
Okay. Then there's visualization.
Yes, visualization.
Which we talked about earlier. So creating those vivid mental images.
Yeah, make it real in your mind.
And the Force also talks about taking inspired action.
Yes, this is key.
So it's not just sitting around thinking positive thoughts.
No, you got to take action.
But it's not just any action.
It's inspired action.
Yeah, it's following your intuition.
Yeah, it's those nudges you get.
Right, like those little whispers.
Yeah, that tell you what to do next.
And then there's releasing resistance. So letting go of those limiting beliefs.
Yeah, those doubts and fears.
That can hold you back.
They can really sabotage your efforts.
So it's about identifying those beliefs.
Yeah.
And then replacing them with more empowering ones.
Exactly. It's like mental decluttering.
You got to make space for the good stuff.
Yeah.
And the source is really clear that the law of attraction isn't a one-time thing.
It's not a magic spell.
Right. It's an ongoing process.
It's a practice.
Yeah, it's like building a muscle.
You got to work at it consistently.
So this all leads to this really empowering idea that we're not just passengers in our own lives.
Right. We're not just along for the ride.
We're the drivers.
We are.
We're the creators.
Yeah, we have the power to shape our reality.
I love that.
And the source gives some specific steps for how to do that.
Okay.
The first step is becoming aware of your thoughts.
Like, pay attention to that inner dialogue.
Exactly. What are you saying to yourself?
And notice those negative or limiting beliefs.
Yeah, because you can't change what you're not aware of.
Right. You have to shine a light on them.
Exactly.
Okay, so once you're aware of those negative beliefs,
Mm-hmm.
the next step is to consciously choose your thoughts,
Yeah. Replace those negative beliefs with positive ones.
like affirmations or more empowering perspectives
Right. It's like you're rewriting the script.
of your life.
Exactly.
And this is where neuroplasticity comes in,
Yes, because you're literally changing your brain.
by changing your thoughts.
It's amazing.
The source also talks about cultivating positive emotions
Yeah.
through gratitude, mindfulness, self-compassion.
It's not just about thinking positive thoughts.
Right.
It's about feeling good.
Yeah. And that emotional alignment is so important
It is.
because it attracts more good things into your life.
Right? Raises your vibration.
Okay, and then there's taking inspired action,
Yes.
which we talked about earlier.
It's about putting those positive thoughts and feelings into action.
Right.
Taking those steps that are aligned with your goals.
And then trusting the process,
Mhm.
even when you don't see results right away.
Yeah. Having faith
And patient.
and knowing that things are unfolding in their own time.
When taking responsibility for your life,
Yes, owning your power.
recognizing that you're the architect.
You're in the driver's seat.
Yeah.
You're not a victim of circumstance.
And finally, practicing self-love
Mm-hmm.
and recognizing your worthiness.
Yes. This is so important.
Because if you don't believe you deserve good things,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be hard to manifest them.
It's like you're blocking the flow.
So to wrap up this deep dive,
Mm.
it's clear that manifestation,
Yeah.
as presented in The Power Within,
Mm-hmm.
it's not magic.
No, it's not.
It's not some mystical secret.
It's a process.
Yeah.
It's about aligning your inner world.
Your thoughts, your feelings, your beliefs
Yeah.
with your outer reality
Exactly.
for action.
And understanding those psychological and neurological principles.
Right. We talked about.
It's about becoming a conscious creator
Yes.
of your own life.
This has been so insightful.
Yeah, it really has.
So I'm curious, for you listening,
Mm-hmm.
now that you've gone on this deep dive with us,
Yeah.
what's one small shift
Mm.
you could make today
Yeah.
in your thoughts or your actions
Mm-hmm.
to start shaping your reality
Yeah.
more consciously?
It's something to think about.
For sure.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us
Thanks for having me.
on The Deep Dive.
Absolutely.